30 minutes past the hour. We're holding at about 59 degrees. Time and temperature brought to you by your friends at Active Pest Control. Active Pest Control, summer, winter, spring, fall. We don't care for those rodents, critters, or gooey things at all. Ryan and the crew can exterminate and make the smackdown for you. Located at 34 Jefferson Street in Newnan. Ladies and gentlemen, this morning I got a special guest co-host. You know him as the voice of many of your high school football, baseball, and football teams. Lions broadcast, part of the Chattahoochee Living writing for them. He's the sports beat host weekdays from 2 to 3 p.m. And he's my special guest co-host all morning, Richard Holdridge. Good morning, Richard.
Good morning, Ryan. This really has been a dream of mine since I graduated from college. You know, I used to host a morning show in college. I had a lot of fun playing music, giving the headlines at the top of the hour for news, pop culture, sports. Right. And so having this opportunity to be on your morning show where you don't just talk about sports, you talk about pretty much everything, weather, news, traffic, pop culture.
Yep.
I'm really just excited just to be here. And I know that we have our little segment on Tuesday talking about sports, but I get to be here in the studio with you for 3 hours. This is awesome. And then, first of all, I want to give a shout out to Thrift Behringer from Georgia Alabama Sports Live. Hopefully he can call in. Really, I would not be where I'm at as far as everything I'm doing with Georgia Alabama Sports Live if it wasn't for Thrift Behringer.
Right.
We met about a year and a half ago at a basketball game for Campus Academy. My daughter was a cheerleader there. He recognized me immediately as the voice of the Columbus Rapids. Like, he knew who I was because of that.
Right.
And one day, it was about a year ago, he asked me to help him call some basketball games because he was doing an all-day tournament and he needed some help. We built up chemistry on the air, and he's asked me to help at the Sports Visions radio show that he does with DJ Jones. And he's been a frequent guest on my podcast. And now we've crossed over to Georgia Alabama Sports Live, where a lot of that content I have on my show that I do 5 days a week here from 2 to 3. So you get just incredible content. I tell you what, Ryan, Tuesday was absolutely surreal because I was in the presence of just incredible sports personalities in Columbus. DJ Jones, Thrift Behringer, Jack Patterson, Rex Castillo, Jonathan Hoppy, Rick Beach. We also had the Glenwood head football coach, Ryan Nelson. We also had a couple of players. It was live at Happy Hour Bar and Grill in Phoenix City. And I really was just in awe. It was just a surreal moment. I had a lot of fun. And it really, my broadcasting career, it's gotten started for about 2 years now. And I think that we have only just begun.
I think so too, for sure. Well, I'm glad you were able to come in and do the show with me. We talked a couple of weeks ago about you doing this. The time that I sounded like Carl from Sling Blade there. I had a couple of mishaps with my voice, of course, going to having to do a 3-hour show every day. Sometimes that's how it happens. But glad to have you with us. We're going to talk a little sports. We'll do some college football Saturday, some NFL Sunday. We've got a legend that's passed away. We'll talk about that and probably get some talk more about that and thoughts on a Chicago Bears legend, Taylor Swift. We got a few other things we can get into this morning as we dive into it. And really and truly, I do want to dive into that right quick. We'll go ahead and dive into NFL, man. Right now, the NFL wants to talk with their broadcast partners, Fox, NBC, CBS, and of course, let's see who else. There was one more partner, ESPN, said, hey, we want you to promote Taylor Swift's brand new movie that she's got coming out, which is kind of an end of an era or something. It's kind of a movie about following her on the road and all that good stuff. And they want to give her some free advertising because she's brought a lot of new faces to the NFL because of her showing up at the Chiefs games the last couple of weeks. Now, ESPN and NBC said, yeah, we'll do that. But Fox and CBS were like, no, man, we're not going to do free promotions for somebody that, when other movies are spending all this money. What do you think about the NFL working with Taylor Swift and that they're really wanting to push her because she brought a lot of new eyes to the game?
When it comes to Taylor Swift, I've said this before. She is on the Mount Rushmore of female pop singers.
Right.
I'm talking about Madonna, Whitney Houston, Mariah Carey. In the last couple of years, Taylor Swift has been the biggest musician, pop star of all time. And she's about to go down in history as the greatest pop singer of all time. I mean, no disrespect to Whitney Houston or Madonna or any of the, I'm just saying because of her ticket sales.
Right.
And you look at the past year, look at how many, concerts she sold out. I mean, now if she's going to be included in the NFL, by the way, every Chiefs game will be televised. I guarantee you this upcoming game
yes.
between the Chiefs and the Vikings, that's going to be the CBS primetime game. It's going to get quadruple the viewership that it normally would have gotten, because how many times are they going to pan to Taylor Swift up in the luxury box?
Exactly.
And it is going to be just a moment where the NFL is just going to take advantage because they know they're getting a lot more eyeballs on their product. And it's a business. I mean, the NFL is trying to make money. And if, they already make a lot of money as it is, but if you could get an audience who normally doesn't watch sports, I don't know, like my two daughters can now, they can watch a football game with me if we're watching Taylor Swift up in the press box. So
but only if she's there, you're like,
yeah, she's got to be there.
Daddy, I don't want to watch this. Is Taylor Swift not going to be at this game? No, it's the 49ers. 49ers? Never mind.
Ryan, we have about 3 hours. I'm glad you mentioned that because I could probably take the majority of your show talking about the 49ers Cowboys.
I know it would be the 49ers show. It could become a 49ers station because that's what some stations do. They focus in on just one particular football team. And in Las Vegas, the station I work for, we've got the Raiders football team, Raiders Radio. Down in Miami, where Rod is at, there's a radio station that focuses nothing on Dolphins all day, all year long. Now, this is year round, so I know you can definitely do that. I'm going to get into the 49ers here in just a minute with you. But back to this thing as a person in broadcast, the person who runs a radio station myself, I can understand where Fox and CBS are coming from on the whole thing about, I don't really want to run this promotion for free. I understand she brought a lot of eyes to your product, but she has not, there's not a lot of eyes coming to our product. We have to sell that time. If I give her free airtime, then Coca-Cola over here is going to say, hey, wait, my new Coke Zero, I want you to run a free spot for me. Well, then we start running free spots for everybody. Nobody makes money. So I can kind of understand that. But ESPN, I see where they're off the grid and they would do it for sure and everything. NBC kind of surprises me. Maybe I guess they're the lower of the three major networks of people watching so much sports on. But we will get into some sports this weekend. One more thing I want to get with a little entertainment mixed in with your sports. Last weekend, I had to go back and rewatch it because I was at church, and I know you're at church at that time too, but I had to go back and rewatch it. I thought the coolest thing with the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Atlanta Falcons playing in Andy's room on Toy Story, dude. That was the coolest thing ever.
I have to say something about that. Apparently, when they came up with this idea, which, by the way, it's a very creative idea. I've rewatched the broadcast on Disney Plus, and it was really cool. But there's a little continuity error. I guess they did not see the end of Toy Story 3, where, and I'm not trying to spoil it. If nobody has watched the Toy Story, I mean, it's been out for like 13 years. The Toy Story 3 was back in 2010. I remember seeing it at the theater. It was before I had kids. I mean, so it's a big deal. I'm watching Toy Story before I had kids. The toys don't belong to Andy anymore. They belong to Bonnie. So there's a little continuity error. I mean, that's cool. I like the idea that it was in Andy's room.
I do too.
But if you want to get technical, then, keep it up with the times.
Right.
And know that, spoiler alert, Andy he gives away his toys to Bonnie because he's already in college.
And he likes girls now.
He's not playing with toys anymore, and he feels that this girl, who by the way is a big character in Toy Story 4, and now I heard they're going to have Toy Story 5. I mean, so
Ooh,
yeah,
you're gonna love that one.
Look, it's all about the mighty dollar. If you know that these movies are going to continue to make money, why not have all these Pixar movies with sequels? I'm still waiting on A Bug's Life 2, and it hasn't happened. Now, not all sequels are good though. I mean, have you seen Cars 2?
No, not all sequels are good, and sometimes they do that on purpose because they don't want to do a sequel. They're like, this is over. And speaking of that, we've talked about many of sequels on this show. But one thing that you brought up, that's a great point. But another thing that I liked about it was they did do a crossover broadcast with ESPN in the pregame.
Yes.
And the two gentlemen that were calling the game were hooked up to the with the black clothes on and hooked up so they could make the movements, and their cartoon characters could make the movements while they were.
That's awesome.
And everything, but they were like, "This is weird for us to be dressed like this," and all the other ESPN announcers and everything were like, kind of picking at them. So I saw a preview of that. It was so cool, and I know they did this because like Nickelodeon does some Super Bowls and stuff. Where
yes,
they drop
the slime time.
Yeah, slime time and everything. So, do you think that this is a way to get kids into major sports like NFL, maybe Major League Baseball doing this, NBA doing this? I know that the NHL is planning on doing a hockey game this season from Andy's room.
I think that this is a great opportunity to get kids interested in sports. I have a hard time getting my daughters to watch sports with me.
I know. Unless it's soccer.
Well, my youngest doesn't play soccer anymore. She would have been recruited by John Calipari. She was a one and done.
Okay.
So, but
no Leon Messi here.
no, she's they're both into gymnastics.
That's cool.
I actually think that I'm going to end up being the Richard Williams of gymnastics. I think I've got myself a Serena and Venus version of gymnasts.
Okay, there you go. Well, then there you go. You won't have to. They'll be able to take care of daddy and mama for the rest of their life, and you can just sit around doing your podcast and not worry about anything.
Ryan, let me tell you something. That would make me so happy if I could just do my podcast on a daily basis. I could do it live from my studio up in my house.
Yep.
And
that's why you get your girls out there and get them competing professionally. There you go.
Oh, I have no question about it.
But I think it's a great idea myself that this is the way to get the kids into it. And I'm hoping that it's Andy's room that they're doing the hockey in, but they may be doing the hockey in one of the other Disney movies and everything. So I do know that they're bringing that up later on, and the success of this past Sunday with the Falcons and the Jaguars on television wasn't very successful for the Falcons on the field, but it was successful for keeping eyes on the product and everything. And we'll get into some more football action here in just a few moments, because right now we're going to get ready to take a break. When we get back here in a moment, we're going to talk about a legend, a Hall of Famer, a middle linebacker, and very well known with the Chicago Bears. We'll talk about that coming up after the break. We have Richard Holdridge with us here this morning. You're inside the Rhino Radio Penitentiary, about 15 minutes away from the top of the hour. We're currently holding at, right now, ladies and gentlemen, 59 degrees. Summer temperature brought to you by Active Pest Control. Summer, winter, spring, fall, we don't care for those rodents, critters, or gooey things at all. Ryan and crew can exterminate and lay that smack down for you. Remember, take an umbrella with you today because there's going to be some rain in the forecast. Richard, you ready for the rain?
Little bit of rain. We do have some high school football games later tonight. I'm hoping we bring the tent for the broadcast. Hopefully we'll be in the press box where we don't have to worry about the drizzle of the rain. But make sure you catch that on Georgia Alabama Sports Live. High school game day is going to be at Calvary Christian. As you can see, I'm wearing my Calvary Christian polo shirt. I got to represent Calvary Christian and those Knights. I cannot wait. And then Thrift Behringer, Rick Beach from Kutsu Sports is going to be live at Kinnett Stadium for Harris County and Northside.
Harris County is this team that everybody's looking at. They're even talking about them here.
They're talking about them in the entire state. I know that it's on Matt Stewart's radar, which, by the way, He's going to be in Newnan.
Right.
As well. The GPB game of the week is going to be Carrollton and East Coweta. And I know we have plenty of time to talk about that. I know that Matt Stewart is happy to make his way to Newnan for the broadcast.
It's going to be fantastic. That'll be on GPTV tonight. And we'll talk more about Carrollton. We'll talk more about East Coweta and all the high school coming up. Stay with us more on the way after this.
All right.
All right.
So we are currently at a break here on WQEE. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the microphone on mute, turn off the camera. And when we come back, we'll have more of the Rhino Radio Penitentiary here on WQEE.
Baseball divisional round opens tomorrow.
Welcome back into Rhino Radio Penitentiary. You guys are in lockdown with us this morning. We have a special guest co-host, Richard Holdridge, with us. Ladies and gentlemen, just to tell you some things going on around the area where history comes alive. The Oak Hill Cemetery Tour begins Saturday, October 21st and Friday, October 27th from 4 to 7:30 p.m. The McRitchie Hollis Museum here at 74 Jackson Street in Newnan. Tickets available at eventbrite.com or the museum. It's going to be a scary fun. Scary fun, yes. All right, we're welcoming you back in. We're getting into the second of the last few minutes of the Rhino Radio Penitentiary's first period of play. We're going to top the hour. We've got news for you, and then we'll get into go live on the WQEE Facebook as well. Before we get into anything, I want to talk about a legendary Hall of Famer, middle linebacker for the Chicago Bears, the Bears in 1960, early 70s. Died at age 80. The family NFL confirmed. You know who I'm talking about, and this was confirmed on X. You know who I'm talking about, right?
Yes, Dick Butkus.
Dick Butkus, that's right. And one of the greats of all time. This man, I remember seeing comedy bits made about him back in the day. People kind of, taking and making him look and being more angry than he is in real life. And, this is his family said in a statement tweeted out by the Chicago Bears on the X account that he died peacefully in his sleep overnight in Malibu, California. Now, the family is gathering with Dick's wife, Helen, and they appreciate your prayers and support, says the family. He was drafted 3rd overall in 1965 NFL and ended the draft in his hometown with Chicago with the Bears, and he was a Pro Bowl winner, won 2 NFL Defense Player of the Year awards. So, what is your thoughts on Dick Butkus?
Well, he's had an incredible career, not just on the gridiron, but also as an actor, as somebody, as an analyst.
Right.
I mean, I'll get into all the accolades that Dick Butkus has had, but he was the type of linebacker. By the way, one of the greatest linebackers to ever play the game. But he was playing in an era where they didn't keep all the stats.
No.
And so you got to think that he was drafted the same year as Gale Sayers. They actually finished 1-2 in Rookie of the Year.
Right.
And during Chicago's day where they were just absolutely dominant with Dick Butkus and Gale Sayers, and played for legendary coach George Halas. And unfortunately, his career ended because of injuries. He retired at the age of 31.
Right.
He went on to acting. He actually played a bit part in The Longest Yard.
Yes.
With Burt Reynolds, came out in 1974. He also was in one of my favorite football movies of all time, Necessary Roughness.
Oh, yes.
He was part of the prison, the team that came out that was scrimmaging with the Texas State Armadillos.
Right.
Not to be confused with the Texas State Bobcats. But the Texas State Armadillos, Scott Bakula was the quarterback. Kathy Ireland was the kicker. I mean, it was a fun movie. So he gets off the bus. It's Dick Butkus. It's like Roger Craig. It's Evander Holyfield. He's not even a football player, but he was on that. He actually replaced Jimmy the Greek in 1988 as basically what Jimmy the Greek was doing for the NFL today.
Right.
And he was also, for a brief stint, the XFL team in 2001, the Chicago Enforcers. He was their head coach. Talk about just a change of scenery.
I know, right?
For Dick Butkus. But, the XFL I remember I was in college, and that was like, we're trying to promote toughness. So why not get Dick Butkus as the head coach of the Chicago Enforcers? It was incredible. Yeah, he's had an incredible career, and I know that my thoughts go out to the family. He surely is going to be missed. He is truly an icon, not just in football, but in life, with everything that he has done in his life.
Well, I remember Saturday Night Live. They doing skits. I remember him being a focal point of comedy bits and people saying things. This name he was legendary, known off the field as much on the field, because back in the day, not too many times would a well-known player, if they were not a quarterback, back in the 80s and 90s, would even get their name mentioned on television, on a comedy bit or anything, or even, he's done things where people his name was brought up. If it was Chicago, he is Chicago back in that day. So, yeah, prayers going out to his family and friends at this time. And he's definitely going to be missed. And of course, there'll probably be a major tribute to him and everything. Not one kind of like we had with a certain basketball player a few years ago, but maybe something I'd say they're going to probably bring something because you got legends like this. I know he's 80, but still, man, it's somebody that everybody's going to remember. It's just not a guy that's been there a couple of years. Boom. It's someone that, yeah, there's been characters about it. And then I love the Saturday night skit there. I was like, the Bears. And guess whose name is brought up in that? The guy played Norm from Cheers, played a Bears fan. Dick Bucket's name was brought up in that too. So, it's just all kind of things. Well, I tell you, we're getting ready to end the hour here. We got about 5 more minutes left. And I want to end it with a story here in Georgia of a police officer in Cobb County. A Cobb County Police Department posted on a video on Facebook showing their sergeant coming to the rescue and the assist of a young deer with his head caught in a metal wire and covered with a wooden fence. Now, I know that hold back, hunters out there. I know you guys are like, whoa, wait, it was trapped. But still, yes, it was shown there. The video shows that the sergeant with the Cobb County Police Department used bolt cutters to cut the deer free from his predicament. He said, even though the deer didn't pause to say thank you, he said, we're sure it was appreciated. Yeah, of course, that deer took off running. So I don't know. We've all lived in the South. You've been here long enough, even though you're from the other side of the country and everything. You've probably seen enough of this type of situation.
Well, have you seen that video where the deer escapes the boa constrictor? I mean,
yes.
That's gone viral.
Yes.
Like somebody just whacks the boa constrictor with a tree branch,
right?
And the deer escapes the jaws. Like this boa constrictor had him in a chokehold and was about to devour him. And then you have people commenting, well, you're messing up the food chain, the circle of life. Now that snake is going to get hungry.
I'm sure that snake can find something else.
He'll find another deer,
and he'll find something. Yeah, come on. But it's funny. And recently, a lot as we get ready to head into the top of the hour. Recently, a lot, Richard. There's been these bears everywhere sightings, and there's one bear called Tripod down in Florida. I've talked about this a couple of times. He needs a little AA meeting or somewhere because he likes to break into homes and steal adult beverages. And it's a real bear and everything. And they call him Tripod because he only has 3 legs. And he's known in that community. And I guess everybody's like, oh, there's Tripod again coming in our backyard, going into our freezer. So if you lived in this part of Florida, remember you got to lock up your freezer because he's going to go get you, your best adult beverages out. But then again, maybe God is trying to tell you something. Maybe God don't want you drinking those adult beverages.
Well, they made a movie about this, a bear devouring another controlling substance.
Yeah, cocaine bear, which was, I watched the documentary on that, Richard, and it's totally 100% different. I mean, the movie is just, I guess, horror movie. It wouldn't be fun.
It's a horror movie.
Yeah. It wouldn't be fun to make a movie about a bear getting into cocaine and then dying and doing nothing to people and not attacking people.
Well, they wanted to make it entertaining, but they also wanted to make it like a horror movie.
Exactly. That's what they did. Well, there was also a bear in Mexico, and this was the funniest thing that came to mind as we get ready to end this hour, and it reminded me of Yogi. Hey, boo-boo, let's get the picnic basket. Down in Mexico, there was a couple that were, well, not a couple, a mother and her son were having a picnic, and a bear took their basket and ran up the tree behind. Hey, boo-boo.
You can't make this stuff up.
No, you can't. So I tell you what, bears are starting to come into our habitat and they don't care. So what? They want picnic baskets, they want alcoholic beverages, and they want cocaine. Think about that. Back in a moment, period number 2 coming up after the break.
That was great.
That was cool.
Yeah. All right. This is Richard Holdridge back here on WQEE. Hour 1 in the books. We got 2 more hours to go here. I'm just up here in the station with Ryan O'Neill from the Rhino Radio Penitentiary.
Hey.
I'm going to turn the camera on to you, Ryan. Say hi.
Hey, what's up? How's it going? We
All right.
appreciate you tuning in.
We are on a break. I'm going to go ahead and put the camera on pause and put the microphone on mute. You are listening to the Rhino Radio Penitentiary on WQEE. Hour 1 of the books. It's time for the 8 o'clock hour, and we will be back. All right, we are moments away from the start of the second hour here on WQEE. Let me go ahead and move the camera over to me right here. Hey, everybody, I am Richard Holdridge from the Sports Beat with Richard Holdridge. You can catch my show Monday through Friday from 2 to 3 on WQEE as Ryan is getting ready to get on the air. So I'm going to go ahead and switch the camera back to him as you're listening to the Rhino Radio Penitentiary here on WQEE.
Good morning, everybody. We appreciate you guys being with us, having a good time here. We're getting ready to go in just a few minutes. Got a couple more spots and sponsors. That's what we do here.
And we might have a special caller.
Uh-oh. Really?
I put the number out. Call the show 770. Oh, hang on a second. 770-347-9947 is the phone number if you want to get on the air and talk some sports or talk about whatever you want.
We can talk about life, man.
Life.
Great
movie, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Martin Lawrence and Eddie Murphy.
Or, great cereal. Or a great magazine. Both were like, I remember that magazine.
Funny story though, when I watched the movie Life, when my kids were born, I used to do the whole I'm the father of that baby. That's my baby. I'd be in the delivery.
Your poor wife.
Oh man.
She's like, wait a minute, come on now.
I would tell the nurse, I believe that baby's mine. Classic show. Classic movie.
Mm-hmm.
That movie is one of the best. One of the funniest movies. Fun fact, somebody told me it was a spin-off from the movie Harlem Nights. Those characters from Harlem Nights, that was Ray and Claude from their vision of the Boom Boom Room.
Right.
They're dreaming about it in prison. So I don't think they ever did that, but it was pretty cool.
Huh. Well, there you
go. The random facts that you hear about. And this is the only content you can get here during the break.
Just random facts.
Random facts. Big shout out to Rod Peterson, by the way. He's had me on his show a couple of times.
Yes, Rod. Good morning to you.
He's the GOAT.
You're listening to WQEE 99.1 FM, Newnan, Georgia. All right, we're going to do it once more. And this time, fill the states. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Good morning. Good morning. I love that.
Good morning to you. When the band began to play, the stars were shining bright.
I like when Joe tells Quagmire, good morning. That was the Family Guy episode where Joe got his legs. And then they couldn't keep up with him. I know, I thought we were still going. In honor of Stewie, LaGrange did play Whitewater last week.
Oh, my goodness. That's some bad jokes off the air, guys. Stay tuned. We got period number 2 coming up for you right now here on the network. So let's get ready for that. And let's hope that our internet works. It's Rhino Radio Penitentiary. I'm your host of the most, the one, the only, Rhino Neal. And of course, that's right, I am the game. 50,000 plus of you worldwide on the Shoutcast, shout it out loud across the Rhino Radio Penitentiary page. We're across the British Columbia Isles of Canada, and ladies and gentlemen, of course, across the one, the only Earth Rock Radio, New Mexico, Arizona, and the Navajo Nation. We're across Georgia Communication and family radio stations, East Alabama, West Georgia, including right here at 99.1 FM, WQEE, the key, home of Southern sports and inspirational talk. We're the heartbeat of Atlanta because we're live all day. And we're going to be live today all day long heading into the weekend. the best in sports, entertainment, and more. And we welcome you guys into it. And to my haters, well, I got one thing to say to you. Tell them, Triple H, what I got to say. That's right. I am the man around here, whether they like it or not. And this morning, we got a special guest co-host in the studio. He is from the Sports Beat weekdays, 2 to 3 p.m. here on the network. And he is all over Columbus, Metro Atlanta, everywhere, and doing everything. Richard Holdridge is with us.
What's up, Newnan? I'm glad to be here. This is a big day in Newnan because we have a huge high school football game. I'm talking huge. Matt Stewart, John Nelson, they're all going to be here in Newnan shortly later tonight. GPB Sports, Carrollton versus East Coweta.
Oh, yes. The Indians and the Trojans are going to go at it, and we'll talk about that coming up in just a few moments. Plus, we're going to get into some of the high school games of the week in East Alabama, West Georgia. We'll talk about picks and all that stuff. And not only that, we'll talk a little SEC this weekend and NFL action because there's going to be a special Sunday night football game that's very close to your heart.
Yes, it is.
Richard. So we'll talk about that. But first, I want to dive into a couple of headline news for you since it is Friday. And we are TGIF. I like to call it TGIF. Thank goodness it's Friday and Fake News Friday. But before we do all the other stuff, let's jump into some headline news this morning. A couple of newsworthy notes. LG Energy is going to be working with Toyota. They announced a long-term US EV battery deal that they're going to be working with them, of course, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be a 20 gigawatts, sound like a Doc from Back to the Future, as it starts building in 2025. The facility is going to be in Michigan first, and this is going to include some of those batteries that are made in Kentucky. And eventually, what does that have to do with us in Georgia? Well, there's going to be a facility built, and it's going to reach up to $7.59 billion with an additional 8,500 new jobs in the next 8 years here in Georgia. Yes, I know some of you don't like what they like to call electric vehicles, but it is the future. At least there's jobs on the horizon for most of us. And finally this morning, also in the news, ladies and gentlemen, Cobb County teacher arrested accused of improper relationship with a student. His name is Eric Taylor Butler, 28. He's been arrested and charged with a sexual assault by a teacher at having an inappropriate relationship with a 16-year-old female at the school. They were meeting in his classroom at the school. They were meeting, of course, ladies and gentlemen, at the Starbucks. And one of his co-workers told him it wasn't a very good idea for him to be doing this. So they started having a secret meeting. What's detrimental about this story is he called her mommy and she called him daddy. And finally, leaders in the Georgia Senate have announced they're investigating into the conditions of the terrible conditions over at Fulton County Jail. Fulton County commissioners and come together, and they've got a concern about the $1.7 billion plan to build a new replacement facility for the aging jail. Now, a lot of these people we told you yesterday are going to be moved 1,000 plus, 100 plus miles away down to South Georgia as well as Mississippi. And according to the DA's office, a lot of prosecutors have got backlogs of cases that they have not worked out is one of the main reasons that this is going on, ladies and gentlemen. This is one of the main reasons it's going on. Well, we're hoping that they get all that settled and everything. Now that we got the news out of the way, it's time to get some fun underway. We got Richard Holdridge with us in the studio this morning, we told you. And Richard, we're gonna 15 minutes past the hour, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. 59 degrees, time and temperature brought to you by Active Pest Control. Summer, winter, spring, fall, we don't care for those rodents, critters, or gooey things at all. Ryan and crew, 34 Jefferson Street can exterminate them for you. I personally use them. They do a great job. And they're not only in Newnan, they serve LaGrange and Columbus as well.
There you go. Serving all the communities here in what we like to call the southern metro Atlanta area, the Tri-City area. Newnan is on the outskirts of the Chattahoochee Valley, but, you know, I give Newnan a lot of love on my show. You know, I know I'm based out of Columbus, but it's great when our communities can collide.
It is. We have a lot of Columbus businesses that come and do business with us here in Newnan as well. Good morning to my lovely bride, Andrew Polanis, who's joining me this morning. Kiss to you as well. And of course, I know Gail's going to say get a room. I understand. That's what they always tell us. All right, Richard, I want to kick off with, we're going to dive deeper into, after the break, into some high school football, but I want to talk about Sunday coming up. This one's going to be a big one for you. Sunday night football, a team that looks like they could possibly go to the Super Bowl this season is your San Francisco 49ers.
Absolutely. I have been analyzing this game for a week now. I've been listening to sports talk radio personalities like Colin Cowherd, and I've been watching Stephen A. Smith, Skip Bayless. Of course, he's going to be pro Cowboys and saying the Cowboys are the best thing since sliced bread. And I think when you look at this game, the 49ers are favored by 4. The Niners are a great team, but the Cowboys want this more. You got to think of the revenge factor. They lost to the 49ers the past 2 seasons in dramatic fashion in the playoffs. We remember 2 years ago, Dak Prescott didn't have enough time to get a playoff, and the game ended. Last year, that crazy play with Ezekiel Elliott under center, and the 49ers ended up winning that. Both great games. It was great finishes. I believe, the 49ers, if you look on paper, yes, they have more skilled players than the Cowboys. The key is if Dak Prescott just has a great game, I'm talking no turnovers, the Cowboys have a chance to win this game. I mean, this is one of those games where you don't want to go 3-2, especially with the Eagles at 4-0.
Right.
And like if the Eagles beat the Rams, they'll be 5-0. The Cowboys don't want to be 2 back of the Eagles, having to play them 2 more times. 49ers, they're 4-0. What can you say about Brock Purdy? He has the best passer rating in the National Football League, and that includes Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes. He's number 1.
Right.
He has not made a big mistake. Knock on wood. Hopefully, he doesn't have a mistake against the Cowboys, but I would not be too disappointed if he comes out and he struggles because that Cowboys defense led by Micah Parsons gives him the business. I think it's going to be a back-and-forth game. I think it could come down to a final play, maybe a game-winning field goal, hopefully by the 49ers, and they win that game. But I'm looking forward to this game. Little nervous because it is the Cowboys. This is you got to go back. I go back to my childhood. I'm not going to go all the way back to 1981 with Montana throwing it to Dwight Clark. I mean, I don't remember that.
Way too far.
I was 2 years old. I don't remember that. What I do remember was the 1992 NFC Championship. The 49ers passed the torch to Steve Young. They had a great team. And this young team led by Jimmy Johnson came in with Michael Irvin, Emmitt Smith, Troy Aikman. They finished 1-15 a couple of seasons before Jimmy Johnson's first year. And they had an incredible roster. And, the 49ers were playing at home. They were 14-2.
Right.
And the Cowboys ended up beating them 30-20 in a soggy candlestick.
Right.
The following year, the Cowboys just destroyed them in the NFC Championship, 38-21. In fact, Troy Aikman got hurt in that game. Bernie Kosar came into the game. So the Cowboys win back-to-back Super Bowls. They're this team of the 90s, this up-and-coming dynasty. And the 49ers were like, we got to do something.
They definitely did.
They went and got Deion Sanders, Richard Dent, Ricky Jackson, Gary Plummer. They pretty much they completely shifted their defense. They still had their great players like Jerry Rice, John Taylor, Ricky Waters, Britt Jones, Steve Young having an MVP season. They finally beat the Cowboys in the NFC Championship. And then in 95, they beat them in the regular season with Elvis Gerbach, but it was the Packers with a big upset because I thought the 49ers were going to go back-to-back.
Right. Well, I'll tell you what, you can tell that he's passionate about this Sunday night game between the Cowboys and the 49ers.
Absolutely.
And I tell you what, we'll give you a couple of those scores here. It is Football Friday for the remainder of our sports shows, but we'll also get into the high school sports. But I got a couple of things I want to bring up with the NHL and Major League Baseball before we take this first break. But a few games is coming up Sunday. Another Jaguars game at 9:30 a.m. against the Bills, the Texans and the Colts. The Titans and the Colts. I'm sorry, the Texans and the Falcons is coming up Sunday. The Panthers, the Lions, the Ravens, the Steelers, the Saints, the Patriots, the Giants, the Dolphins, the Eagles, the Rams, the Jets, and the Broncos. the Chiefs and the Vikings. We told you the Cowboys and 49ers is the Sunday night football game of the week. What do the Falcons have to do to get back on top this week, you think?
No, Desmond Ritter is going to have to make plays. When he gets into third and long, he's going to have to utilize Drake London or Kyle Pitts. Give Kyle Pitts more targets. You don't have to run the ball 30 times with Bijan Robinson. I know that I want the Falcons' identity to be a physical run team that plays stout defense. Their defense is going to be fine.
Right.
I think that it's C.J. Stroud's fifth start. By the way, C.J. Stroud for the Houston Texans is having a great rookie season.
I tell you what, the Ohio State standout is looking good.
And I love D'Amico Ryans as the head coach for the Houston Texans. He's really got them believing.
Well, I don't want them believing this Sunday.
No, of course
Atlanta,
not. Yeah, we want to try to get the win, but this is not a team that you sleep on.
No.
This is a team that could come in and get the win against Atlanta because
they could.
This team is hungry. They're young, and they really got nothing to lose. I love D'Amico Ryans. You know, he was the defensive coordinator for the 49ers, but he really is a player's coach. And you got to remember, on the other side of the ball, you have the Houston Texans' Will Anderson. You remember him at Alabama?
Yeah, no. But still, we can't lose another one.
No, we can't. After starting 2-0 and then going 2-2, it seems like, you know, Falcons fans are kind of feeling that maybe there's a possible chance that Desmond Ritter might not be the guy.
I think a lot of them are saying that. I've been noticing that on social media, a lot of fans. And Coach Arthur Smith did say this past week, we talked about it on Wednesday's show, that he's not changing anything, that he's sticking with Desmond. That's his number one quarterback. That's what he's going to do. They're going to ride it out with him. So hopefully Sunday he rides it out and we see a Falcons win to go 3-2 and not in 2-3 on the season. The Titans are looking good this year in Tennessee, man. And Tennessee's got a couple of good teams, not only with the Titans, but the Volunteers, but we'll talk about college later. What do you think about the Titans so far this year?
Well, the Titans have kind of been back and forth. They did beat the Bengals, but, you know, they've lost some games to the Browns. I mean,
right.
I don't know if Ryan Tannehill is the guy. Maybe you give Will Levis a chance. Well, you got to remember, you know, he has had some ups and down games. I mean, they did beat the Chargers and they did beat the Bengals.
Right.
But you have a 1-point loss to the Saints. You get blown out by the Cleveland Browns, 27-3. Now you're playing the Indianapolis Colts. By the way, Jonathan Taylor's going to be back.
Ooh, yes.
Anthony Richardson is another rookie quarterback who's starting to show that he can make plays. And the Colts have a very good team with DeForest Buckner, Darius Leonard on the defense, Quentin Nelson, one of the top guards in the NFL. It's going to be tough. I know the Titans are favored by 2.5. But I think that the Colts are going to give them a game.
Wow. Yeah, I know. And I know a member of the Braves Country HD team there, Joy, part of Braves Country Radio weekdays. He was on yesterday. He's a Colts guy, and he's probably hoping that they come out on top this weekend as well. Well, let's go into some baseball right quick. And I know there's some baseball fans out there. We'll do this before we get ready to go to the break. I want to talk about, as we get ready to head in this weekend, it's Braves and Phillies. Now, when we come back from the break, we're going to open the phone line. So if people want to call it 770-347-9947 to talk about, you know, anything, including sports. We'll be happy to do that. Let's talk about the Braves and the Phillies heading into this weekend. Braves fans some of them are kind of about this Phillies this weekend because the Phillies are a team that could put us out of the opportunities to go to the World Series.
I had to analyze this game from last year. When they played the Phillies, the Braves had the home field. The Phillies stole game one.
Yep.
I mean, Ranger Suarez, not even their best pitcher for the Phillies, dueled Max Fried. Max Fried did not have a great game. The Phillies took game one. Game two, the Braves were able to bounce back. Kyle Wright had a great start. But you do not want to bring this series back to Philly 1-1. Nope. Braves have to win the games at home. You've got to go up 2-0. You've got to get it to a game 5 in Atlanta.
You have to, yeah.
But I like how the pitching is set up a little bit better. Spencer Strider probably going to start game 1. And I don't know the health of Max Fried. He might be back in the postseason, but you also have Charlie Morton. You also have Bryce Elder.
Right.
You do have some pitchers that can go toe-to-toe with the Phillies pitchers, Zach Wheeler and Aaron Nola. You know that they're going to start game 1 or game 2, but you also got to remember that the Phillies, they dismantled the Marlins in 2 games. I mean, in fact,
For
every
sure.
team in the major leagues didn't play last night because they all won their games 2-0. And so the Phillies, they'll reset their rotation, and I expect either Zach Wheeler or Aaron Nola to start game 1. They actually have not named the starting pitchers for Saturday's game, which
Not
is
yet.
finally they have a game. First pitch 6:05. You know how Truist Park, Atlanta
That
is
sounds-
always that 1:00 start.
Right.
But now they're putting the Braves in prime time, and that's the right answer.
That is the right answer. 6:05 has always been that Saturday night TBS time. And I believe this game is going to be on TBS. So it's going to remind you the good old days of when Ted Turner owned World Championship Wrestling on the Braves, and you had the Braves on at 6:05, and then you either had to put wrestling on before that or after it. It was at prime time. So ecstatic to see that, So we'll get some of you guys' opinions on the Braves, the Phillies, and all that kind of stuff as well. Let's take a look at. We're going to get ready to take a break here and take a look at what's going on with your traffic this go around. Brought to you by our friends and most valuable Smiles. We'll be back in a moment. We're going to do our road report after this. 60 seconds.
Okay, everybody. Thank you for watching us on Facebook Live and YouTube Live. It is the special edition of the Sports Beat with Richard Holdridge, live in studio with Ryan O'Neal from the Rhino Radio Penitentiary Morning Show, 7 to 10. You can catch that show here on WQEE. I am Richard Holdridge. Let me go ahead and pan the camera over to me right here. Hey, everybody. It is Richard Holdridge. I'm just so happy to be here in the studio with Ryan O'Neal. Ryan, we're having a lot of fun, aren't we?
It's a good morning, and I'm having a good time. I appreciate you being with us. For sure, man.
We are at the halfway point of the morning show.
We are.
But it's really flown by. When you do shows like this, it's really flown by.
It definitely is. Welcome back. It's time to take a look at what's going on with our traffic, brought to you by our friends at Most Valuable Smiles, a couple-hour drive away from Newnan and a drive away from you in East Alabama, West Georgia. The perfect smile. Dr. William Oliver and staff has it for you. But unlike that traffic out there right now, it's starting to pick up in the Atlanta and Metro Atlanta areas. Cobb County injury near John Warren Road at Malcolm Road. Lanes are blocked till about 8:40 this morning. Also, Kennesaw, there's a crash impacting the left lane at I-75, and that's near 271. That's going to impact you to about 8:50 this morning. Fulton Industrial Boulevard in Fulton County, there's a crash in the right lane there, and that's just north of Campbell Road, and delays are going on until about 8:50 this morning. Nothing going on in Newnan. We're taking a look at downtown Newnan right quick. It's picking up just a tad bit, but nothing major on Jackson Street. Bullsboro's picking up a lot of traffic there going into Laurelville Road as well as Popular Road. Back behind me, Temple Avenue is picking up, but nothing major. Heading down towards LaGrange Street, looking good towards the high school at Newnan. Heading towards Greenville Street, head down Interstate 85. I tell you what, no issues in Grantville. Good morning to Dave Clark and the City Council over in Grantville for tuning in. Thank you very much. Also down to Hogansville Police Department, report nothing this morning. In LaGrange, Commerce Avenue is picking up. Downtown LaGrange is picking up. The best route to get into West Point is Old West Point Road right now. And because if you get off the West Point exit, there's construction going on. No traffic issues in Lynette or Valley, and that's the way it's looking. If you see something that I don't see, shoot us an email at 99classicrock@gmail.com. That's 99classicrock@gmail.com. You can email, put in there, WQEE Newshound. News, weather, traffic, sports, what's going on locally, community events and church events. And we're happy to let you know about that. Like coming up this weekend, it is the musical benefit for our friends across the hall, Coweta Casa, hosted by Chris Yeoman's band, Tony Sims, Sweetgrass Sally, George Brett, Aaron Watkins. And if you're a classic country fan, you're going to love this music. Line dancing as well. Get your line dancing on. Open dance starting tomorrow at 2 p.m. until at 110 West Industrial Boulevard, Suite 130 here in Newnan. Dance, donate, and support our local foster kids. Can you dance, Richard?
We're talking about classic country.
Any you can dance any kind of style. If you want to do the watermelon or whatever it's called.
All right, so here's what I'm going to say to this just to distract from the question. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Conway Twitty.
Wasn't too much Family Guy. You can do some boots good booging. Boots good boot.
You talk about Brooks and Dunn?
Yeah.
Line dancing maybe.
You can do a little line dancing. Be like Billy Ray Cyrus. Don't
achy breaky
my
heart. Yeah.
My achy breaky heart. Come on. Look, Richard, we're in the South. No matter how much you like your hip hop music, and I'm a metal guy, we're in the South. We still have to put
But there has been a crossover with country and rap.
Oh my goodness.
Like you're talking about Florida, Georgia line, Toby Keith. There's been some. I'm trying to think of some.
Billy Ray Cyrus did it recently with
Billy. That's right.
With the Cowboy song, whatever it is.
But I tell you, but hip hop being 50, I know that we've had a lot of our tributes to hip hop, and it is hard to make a list of the greatest hip hop songs or artists of all time. I mean, they've had some collaborations, and they had some amazing moments. But I tell you what, when you have a double LP and you have a bunch of who's who rap artists collaborate on an album like Tupac's All Eyes on Me back in 1996, right. That's what that reminded me of Tuesday night at Happy Hours Bar and Grill with WRBL's Jack Patterson, Rex Castillo, WTVM's Jonathan Hoppy, Sports Visions, DJ Jones and Thrift Behringer, Rick Beach from Kutsu Sports. I mean, we had a list.
And of course, the Sports beats Richard Holdridge. Come on.
Well, yeah,
he is the Tupac of them all. Come on.
Oh, well, I've been doing this for about 3 years now, and I love broadcasting. I did it in college, and I took a little bit of a break. It wasn't too long of a break, but being in the military, I deployed a couple of times, and I was living up in the Atlanta market, and
right.
A lot of people don't realize I actually was on it was actually a broadcasting company had a radio contest for it was called 680 The Fan's Dream Job.
Okay.
And so I did an audition, and I thought it was great. I thought the audition was great, but you got to remember, it's Atlanta. Everybody likes sports, and they want to do sports broadcasting.
When you
get in those bigger markets, you don't even have an opportunity to get your foot in the door. And so I think Columbus was the perfect market for me to get my foot in the door, because I also did a radio contest back in January of 2021 on 95.7 ESPN Radio.
Right.
And that is where the former Columbus Lions head coach Jason Gibson was a weekly guest. He had a radio show there, and we were talking NFL, kind of building some chemistry, going back and forth. And he remembered me. I sent him a Facebook request a couple of years later.
Right. And
he calls me out of the blue, and I'm like, why am I getting a call from Jason Gibson? Because it actually showed up on my phone as Jason Gibson.
He asked me, what do I win money?
Oh, so at the time I was the public address announcer for Russell County. Right. I talked to Coach Griggs, and I asked, he was really impressed with my broadcasting voice, and that's how I got started in the business. Jason Gibson asked me, would you like to be the voice of the Columbus Rapids?
You were like, not no, but heck yes. Not yes, but heck yes.
That's how it started. Because remember, I told you about the story where I met Thrift Behringer at Campus Academy. My daughter was cheerleading there.
Right.
And he recognized me as the voice of the Rapids. And, we just hit the ground running ever since.
Well, guys, we're going to open the phone lines after the break. It's 770-347-9947 if you want to get into a conversation sports or whatever. Also, we're going to talk some high school sports after the break.
Oh, I can't wait.
And we're going to get into that. We've got our special guest this morning. Weekdays, 2 to 3 on the network here is the sports beat with Richard Holdridge. He's live in the studio with me. We're halfway through 3 hours of nonstop sports and entertainment and fun of the Rhino Radio Penitentiary. Good morning, Chance. How you doing, my brother? We appreciate you being with us. Back in a moment. All right, break.
That was fun.
As always, I appreciate it.
Always. All right, welcome back. We are at a break here at the studio, WQEE 99.1 FM, The Key. I'm here with Ryan O'Neill from the Rhino Radio Penitentiary, morning show. You can catch him from 7 to 10 Monday through Friday. Let me go ahead and change the camera over to you, Ryan. Say hi. No, we're having a lot of fun. I'm having the multiple camera angle. We're doing this on StreamYard. You can catch this on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, on my personal Facebook page as well. I'm going to leave this number up. I want you to call the radio station if you can. I mean, we would love to hear from you.
Do it.
770-347-9947. If you want to talk sports, if you want to talk about life, anything, just call the radio station. We are halfway to the end of the show today. I have had a blast on this show, Ryan.
I appreciate it. I've had a blast. I'm glad to be able to bring you in and let you do something you love doing and everything. That's me right there. I'm all about it. I mean, for people out there that are listening, people that are listening on your feed and everything, here at WQEE, we're all about trying to make everybody not only having their voice heard, but the dreams come true. I mean, that's just the way it is. I've been doing this for 20-something years. I've been having the ups and downs. I know how it is, how people do. And man, when I see talent, I want talent to be here.
Well, like the great Josh Pate says, the grind is a blessing.
His name is Richard Holdridge. He's a sports guy, Chance. He's on weekdays from 2 to 3 on the network here on WQEE.
But do we have somebody saying, who's this guy?
Yeah, who's your guest, Ryan O'Neal? Who the heck is this guy?
Oh, so does he listen? Does he listen to the station from 2 to 3 Monday through Friday? You know,
Chance, every once in a while, I might pay attention.
Okay. Yeah,
Chance is big time.
that's awesome. Hey, Chance. Great that you're supporting the show.
He's my brother from Existent Mother.
Oh, okay. But I love your setup. I mean, really, right here in downtown Newnan, it doesn't get any better than this. And I love the fact that you have a radio station that serves the community here in Newnan.
That's the thing, and the Smirnoff. He's in Smirnoff.
Smirnoff. I'll have to look that up.
I guess that's how you say it.
I don't know, but we've had a lot of
Thanks,
great.
Ryan. Laugh out loud, Chance. Well, you know you're the man, Chance, bro.
There you go.
You know you are.
No, but we've had a lot of great moments in sports this weekend. I'm excited about getting my show on the air. 2 to 3, going to try to go live on my
That'd be
Facebook
cool. You'll
page.
be following Rod Peterson, my buddy.
Right after Rod Peterson.
Oh my gosh, Rod. He sports the show every morning. He's always talking about Rhino Radio Penitentiary. We got more Canadian listeners now than ever before.
Well, when you think of Canadian sports, you think of CFL, you think of the NHL, you think of Rod Peterson.
And when you think of CFL, you think of everybody in Atlanta playing for him.
Yeah,
Smyrna.
pretty much.
Smyrna. I'm sorry. Thank you for setting that straight there, Chance. Pronounce Smyrna.
Smyrna, Georgia, the
Yeah.
home of Julia Roberts.
That's right. Smyrna.
Went to Campbell High School.
See, I mispronounced it. Thank goodness I didn't say it on the radio. Just said it on the.
Yeah,
Hey.
of course. We're at a break. I mean, we're just having fun. I started muting the mic and turning the camera off during the first couple of breaks, but I figured for my audience that's watching me on Facebook Live, I would love to give them some content.
That's right.
All right, so we're about to go on.
We're about to get after a couple more
So
spots.
for people that could see here on the camera, by the way, for people who could see on the camera, they could see my computer. You remember the movie Spaceballs?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's that. They're seeing my camera, and
You're seeing yourself
you're seeing
like
myself.
you're seeing your back of your head and everything.
Yeah,
Turn around, waving at yourself.
exactly. Got NBA
The Swartz
preseason.
is with you.
Yep. Oh, I could talk NBA with the best of them. We got the NBA going on. Sounds like a fun show.
You got to check them out this weekend. Jetstream debuting this coming up Saturday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on the network. We appreciate them guys. They're all the way from the beaches of Florida to be with us on WQEE. See, we're not just local, we're national, we're worldwide. All right, kick it, guys. Here we go. It's Friday Night Lights Scoreboard Show. That's right. Friday nights are a great night for football, and we've got the Friday Night Lights man himself in the studio with 3 hours with us this morning. Richard Holdridge, who is the host of the Sports Beat weekdays from 2 to 3 on the network, and every Tuesday he calls in live here talking high school sports, college sports, and more. And we're about to get into what really makes his blood boil, what really makes him excited, what really gets him going, what really gets his goat going. No, not the Spaceball movie that we're talking about during the break, but he likes that too. But high school football.
Well, you know me, Ryan. I love high school football in this area, and that's where I dedicate the majority of my show on Fridays. Also, being a part of Georgia Alabama Sports Live with Thrift Behringer, you can catch our weekly show as well. And we are going to be on the campus of Calvary Christian for high school game day tonight.
Nice.
Nice. We have another doubleheader on Georgia Alabama Sports Live. Thrift Behringer and Rick Beach of Kutsu Sports is going to be at Kinnett Stadium for the Harris County Tigers taking on the Northside Patriots. A huge region game. Harris County, they're ranked in the 5A, according to Max Preps, at number 23 after knocking off Sandy Creek, the defending 3A champions, 28-19 last week. And they're taking on the Northside Patriots, the defending region champions. We saw Northside up in Purston. Keyston Rivers is just a beast at running back. Right. And then Harris County's got a beast of their own, Matei Yeomans. And with that quarterback battle of Levi Watson for Harris County and Caden Clay for Northside, it's going to be a great game. I'm going to be scoreboard watching because I'm going to be at the campus of Calvary Christian for homecoming. I'm rocking the Calvary polo shirt.
I see you right now looking good, man.
Just a big shout out to head football coach Emmanuel Brunson, which our paths finally catch up with each other. Emmanuel Brunson and I used to be in the Georgia Army National Guard back in 2015.
Really?
We were in the same unit in Columbus.
Really?
So it is such a small world. I reached out to him and I was like, hey, do you remember me? And he got excited. He was like, oh, yeah, of course I remember you. And I'm like, well, I'm doing broadcasting now. And, we've kind of built that connection and that relationship back. And we're hoping to get him on high school game day along with the athletic director, head coach Steve Smith, also of the Columbus Chattahoots. Does a fine job with the Calvary Christian baseball team, 5 straight GAPS champions, and also the manager of the Calvary of the Calvary Christian baseball team, and also of the Columbus Chattahoots.
Definitely so. Well, I tell you what, I know you guys got a big night, and then Thrift is going to be at, of course, Harris County, which is being talked about all over the state of Georgia. And we'll talk about a couple of these games here now. I want to kick off with one that's really going to be getting a big focus in our area. I mean, we have Newnan, we have Northgate playing tonight and everything, Landmark and everything. But East Coweta, the Indians, will be taking on the Carrollton Trojans. That's going to be on Georgia Public Television tonight. So that's going to be a game that you're not only going to get to see live, but they're going to rebroadcast it after the game's over. So you'll have all night of seeing that game. Let's get into talking about some of the games, all these games of the week, and let's start with East Coweta and Carrollton.
This is a massive game. Both teams are 5-1. Like you mentioned, it's going to be broadcasted on GPB Sports. Matt Stewart will have the play-by-play. He's been on my show a couple of times. I've also had John Nelson on the show. I mean, I try to give love to GPB Sports, and they have finally made it to Newnan. This is exciting.
Right. That's right.
And I know that they got to try some of the eating places here in Newnan. Is there any places you would recommend?
We got a ton of places I recommend. Of course, we got all of the corporate places that you can go to. But of course, if you're going to be in downtown, we've got the Oink Joint if you like barbecue. We got Dunks if they like barbecue. We've got Redneck Gourmet if you want a good hamburger. We're right here, the Alamo, and right beside it's a great pizza place that they own.
Nice.
Fabiana's. And knowing Matt and them, they're fancy guys. So we got a place around the corner that they would go to. Nice steaks, nice everything. So there's a lot of great places, I would say. I mean, now I would probably pick a burger up at McDonald's. That's just me because that's me. The rest of you guys are more fancy than I am. So, but anyway, yeah, great places. And then anywhere, we have a lot of great places. We have the Texas Roadhouse. Actually, I suggest the Texas Roadhouse.
Roadhouse.
I do. It's probably the best. If you want a good steak, it's probably the best here in Newnan. So just a lot of great places. So man, they're going to come in tonight. I know they're going to be in there early. They're going to find a great place to eat. They're going to call a great game. And I'm going to be pulling for the East Coweta Indians, even though Carrollton's not too far from us. And even though there's people in Carrollton listening this morning, I don't want Sean and them to get mad. Good morning, Sean. But East Coweta's got to win this.
They're both local teams. We talk Carrollton on this show as well. Are you going to try to go to the game tonight, or are you?
I don't know. I may see what I can do about that. We've got a lot of great other games going on around the area, and with Newnan in action tonight and Northgate in action tonight, we just got too many games to choose from. So I'll see what I can do about jumping into that. Well, Newnan's not in town. They're going to be on the road against Alexandria.
And Northgate plays McIntosh too.
And Northgate and McIntosh. This is going to be a tough task for Northgate. But you can't – the Vikings, you cannot count them out. They've been looking good this season.
The Vikings look pretty good. You also have a Stars Mill taking on Fayette County. Trinity Christian is 3-0 in the region after beating Stars Mill last week. So, that's a team you got to watch out for. But we did have some action in high school football last night. Let's start with the Troup County Tigers. Troup County defeats Riverdale 45-0 during homecoming.
Of course.
And Logan Sinkfield, the quarterback who has taken over for the injured Teo Todd, who's out for the season. We wish a speedy recovery for Teo Todd as he's going to move on to Georgia Southern. But Troup County has players all around, and Logan Sinkfield just fills in the gaps. And, touchdown pass to Noah Dixon, Qua Birdsong, strong on the defense. I still think Troup County is the team to beat in this region, even without Teo Todd, because head coach Tanner Glisson has got his team motivated. They are ready to go. Troup County goes to 6-1 on the season.
Go Tigers.
They still got to play Trinity Christian.
Now the Lions are looking good, and we'll talk about their game here in just a few moments. I'm actually going to get your thoughts on everybody, get you your pick of the week of these games that you're not doing. But Trinity's going to give them a tough task, and Trinity is, since they've moved up to this division, has shown just because they're a private school don't mean that they're a private school. They have won many championships in the private school regions, but they have shown last year why they are a team to be reckoned with. So I'm going to be pulling for the Lions when they're against the Tigers, but the Tigers every other time and everything. Any other games from last night?
Yes, we had the Spencer Green Wave. They were taking on Southwest. It was a close game in that first half, but Spencer pulls away. Gary Gaither with a couple of touchdown passes, and Spencer ends up winning the game 50-16 down at Otis Spencer Stadium. Spencer's now 5-2 on the season, 4-0 in the region as they are trying to win back-to-back region championships. How great would that be? The first time in school history, and there would be back-to-back champions. Got a tough road because they got two tough road games. They got to play Northeast. They got to play Ace Charter. They also host Central of Macon. They got 3 games left. They're hoping to win out. And then Northeast, one of the top teams in their region, goes to Kinnett Stadium and beats the Kendrick Cherokees 42-6.
Wow.
I'm happy that Kendrick was able to have 2 wins this year. They did beat Heritage, a team out of Newnan. Sorry, Heritage.
Yeah. Sorry.
But they did beat Central Macon, which was a region champion. And so, head coach Robert Martin, he's still got a rebuilding team.
Right.
I think that Bukari Littles is a playmaker, and he's young. I mean, he's going to be back. They're just building their team. And then the Lochapoka Indians on a neutral site, they played at Beauregard, defeated the Calhoun Tigers 39-0 as the Poke works on defense. This is a team that head coach Rico Newton a couple of years ago at Media Day said, It's state title or bust.
It sounds like it to me.
And they're undefeated. They lost in the second round last year. Lochapoka, I know they lost J.C. Hart. He's now at Auburn, but Lochapoka undefeated, and they're looking to win their region and make a deep run in the state playoffs.
All right, well, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll have a few more high school football things to talk about. East Alabama, West Georgia. I'm going to pick out some games. I'm going to ask Richard to pick me a winner in those games. Of course, don't worry, it's not going to be the games you guys are doing on Georgia Alabama Sports Live tonight, but we'll talk about some other games. Also, we'll get you ready for the weekend ahead with a little WWE Fast Lane. And Chance said he used to eat at the Texas Roadhouse every week in Newnan when he stayed at the Jameson Inn every Tuesday on business. So he's suggesting the same thing I am. Matt, you guys are listening this morning, come and get some Texas Roadhouse. East Coweta and Carrollton tonight on GPTV, and we'll talk more about, we'll get Richard's picks. That's it. After the break, stay tuned.
Jump Around by House of Pain. It's a very good outro song. Of course, Everlast had a solo career as a, I guess, alternative artist?
Alternative rocker.
Alternative rocker.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know a little bit about music. You know, I actually was a rock DJ in college, too, so.
You got to play the biggest rock song of all time that you can use, that a DJ has to use. Two songs. There's two of them that DJs use when they have to go to the restroom. What are those two songs?
Stairway to Heaven by Led Zeppelin. Because isn't that like 8 minutes long?
You can use that one, yeah.
That's one. Any song by Metallica that's like over 7 minutes long.
You can do that. But old school radio, American Five.
Oh, how long is that song?
Almost 10 minutes.
It's almost 10 minutes? Oh.
And then Freebird, Leonard Skinner.
Okay.
That one's a 12-minute song.
All right, so there is a song that I used to play when I had like 2 minutes left, and I had to play something to get to the next music bed.
Yeah.
It's song number 2 by Blur.
Oh, yeah.
Woohoo!
Actually, that song was played on the radio this week here on WQEE when our Dr. Lewis Boynton does a music therapy show on the first Wednesday of each month.
Okay.
And he played that song. Bohemian Rhapsody. Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen.
That's another good one.
That's what Chance brought up. But I tell you what, it was always American Pie or Skinner. He had to go to the restroom. That was another one.
So that song was tributed to the day the music died with Richie Valens, the Big Bopper, and Buddy Holly died in the plane crash.
Yep.
I remember as a kid seeing the movie La Bamba. I had no idea about it until
you saw that movie.
Until I saw the movie, and it was a sad movie. But yeah, they let me go see La Bamba when I was a kid, and then the actor Lou Diamond Phillips.
I love him.
I saw him in the movie Stand and Deliver, and I was a kid. I was confused. I'm like, but wasn't that La Bamba?
Yeah,
what is he doing in Stand and Deliver?
And then you see him in
Young Guns.
Young Guns, yeah.
He was also in Courage Under Fire with Meg Ryan.
He's always been good in my opinion.
Yeah. Great movies.
All right, we got about 5 minutes to go into the next hour.
5 minutes. Okay, so if you're just joining us on Facebook Live, we are at a break here on WQEE. We got one final hour left in the Ride at Radio Penitentiary.
You just got a compliment.
Compliment?
Yeah, you sound like the late great Mike Brooks, who was a legendary Atlanta former police officer from Washington, D.C. and legendary Atlanta radio show host.
No, I appreciate that.
Yeah,
Thank you.
That's a compliment.
Yeah.
That's a big compliment. Thank you, Chance. Back in a moment. Here we go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, stay with us. We get into period number 3. We'll get our friend Richard Holdridge's picks this morning in the high school games of the week in Alabama and Georgia. I'm going to give a couple of those. Also, I'll talk a little WWE Fastlane and tell you what we're going to watch this weekend, what you need to watch on television. I'm going to look that up for you, talk about what's on Hulu, what's on TV, what is in theaters you need to check out as it's the weekend ahead. Richard joins us for the final period, another hour of Richard Holdridge, and then you get him again this afternoon from 2 to 3. All right, back in a moment. Stay with us. We'll do the picks.
I'm all about that.
I'll do my promotion of my wrestling show that's coming up this weekend, and then let me see. Go ahead and pull up.
In the growing controversy surrounding Alabama libraries and sexually explicit books in the APLS's.
If you are just joining us, we are currently at a break here on WQEE out of Newnan, Georgia, and I am Richard Holdridge. Listen to my show, The Sports Beat with Richard Holdridge, Monday through Friday from 2 to 3. If you want to be on the show, call the show. The number is down below, 770-347-9947, and we can get you on the air. We thank you so much for joining us here on Facebook Live and on YouTube Live. You can also like the show on my Facebook page and my X handle at SportsRichardH, as I do get on the X every now and then and post sports scores and the X. Yes, the
Generation X.
The X Factor. Yes, I am Generation X. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I am too. And I'm the D Generation X too.
The DJ.
Shawn Michaels and Triple H.
I'm telling you, we are having fun here at the station up in Newnan, WQEE. Oh, man. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take another break. And when we come back, we'll have the top of the hour. We got one final hour here on the Rhino Radio Penitentiary here on WQEE. Locking it down, the third period. We'll be right back.
All right.
For August, I'm Troy Thomas.
Welcome back. We are at the top of the hour. We're about to get back on the radio station here at the Rhino Radio Penitentiary Morning Show at WQEE. I'm at the radio station at WQEE in Newnan. And we'll go ahead and turn the camera to my man, Ryan O'Neal.
I appreciate it. I look good on camera sometimes.
Yeah, you do.
Oh, well, thank you.
I appreciate it. I mean, I have my additional camera to see the entire studio, and then the man behind the mic doing all the production. As I've been observing you, and you do a great job with the
Thank you. I
board,
appreciate
and
it.
you know, got a great establishment here at WQEE. And it's really exciting being back at the radio station for 3 hours. I mean, I've been on the radio before with Sports Visions, DJ Jones, Rick Barringer. I've also been on 95.7 up in Columbus. But this is 3 hours. 3 hours is a long time to be on, but it does go by fast.
It always goes by fast. And I enjoy a 3 hour show. That's why I do it every morning. It's fun. It's fun. You can do all kinds of things. It's more than just sports in the morning. News, pop culture, events going on. Like I said, I always have great guests. We have true crime guests every Thursday. We have you and Shane B comes in or calls in on Tuesday. So Tuesdays I have sports and movie reviews. Mondays Coach calls in. Wednesdays we have some great people. Brenda Gaskey's going to be with us again this month.
That is awesome.
I don't have a YouTube link for as the show is on, Gail, but we do have a YouTube link for the station. Oh, I just want to let everybody know that I will be on In and Out Sports, the podcast with Drew.
Nice.
Willingham. Next Tuesday, or this coming up Tuesday night, 9:05 Eastern Time, 8:05 Central, 7:05 Mountain, and 6:05 out on the West Coast PT time. And I guess we're going to talk a little about the show, the station, and he's a wrestling fan, so we could probably talk 2 hours of wrestling.
And I also want to mention to everybody that's listening, this is also the flagship station for the Columbus River Dragons, the Columbus Chattahoots as well.
At least it was.
Follow us on Facebook.
Yeah, we definitely are a part of the River Dragons.
Not the Chattahoots? Okay.
And well, no, we're talking Chattahoots too.
Okay.
What do you do to be prepared in today's world?
Well, luckily that didn't go on the air.
Okay. Okay, well that's good.
As a certified tactical self-defense instructor, I'm specializing in.
We're getting some tickets to give away to the River Dragons for you guys this year.
Yeah, that opener is not until November, but the season does start in October.
Yeah, it starts this month for sure.
Yeah, we're hoping to cover the River Dragons on Georgia Alabama Sports Live. As in Columbus State athletics, talking about Columbus State soccer and Columbus State basketball.
Columbus State needs to bring a football team in.
I would love that. That would be awesome.
Yeah, that's going to be 8 p.m., 8:05 Central Time, your time, Gail, next Tuesday night to see me on In and Out Sports.
That's got to be exciting for you.
Yeah, I get to be somebody else's guest for a change.
Well, you've been a guest on my show.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah. When I was actually live in the studio.
It's just fun doing your show. I know you. Not just going to be not fun with Drew. I know you're going to sit this. I'm not talking. It's not going to be fun with you. But I'm just saying, I'm used to you.
Yes.
It's going to be my first time kind of being interviewed. On your show, you kind of just like, hey, I didn't want to get your opinion.
But to be honest, truthfully, I do appreciate everything you've done for me, allowing me to be on this radio station for almost 3 years. In January, it will be 3 years.
Got to do a 3-year anniversary.
No, it's 2 years. It's 2 years.
You have to do a 2-year anniversary. Terrible twos.
No, my first show was aired in January of 2022, so it'll be 2 years.
Okay.
I kind of got an extra year there because I got that. I was on the air back in 2020, and so yeah, it'll be 2 years. We'd like to thank everybody that's watching us on Facebook Live and on YouTube Live. Go and like the show. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. That's where I'll have all my content on. And I'm going to flash that number in case you want to call the station, 770-347-9947.
Here we go.
Here we go. We're ready to go.
All right, we're gonna do it once more. And this time, no mistakes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good morning. Good morning. It's great to stay up late. Good morning. Good morning to you.
What's up, Corey?
When the band began to play, the stars were shining bright.
But now the milkman's on his way. It's too late to say goodnight.
So say good morning.
Good morning. Something's supposed to talk. Good morning. Good morning to you.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We are still going. It is the final period of play this morning. We're going to get ready to get into this hour. We're going to talk some WWE Fastlane. We're going to get you ready for the weekend with movies and what's up there and what shows. Also, we're going to get Richard's picks right after this. But first, to everyone out there, here's Triple H to tell you more. It's Rhino Radio Penitentiary. I'm your host of the most, the one, the only, Ryan O'Neal. And oh, yeah. 50,000 of you worldwide on the Shoutcast Shout Out Loud across the Rhino Radio media page. Earth Rock Radio, New Mexico, Arizona, and the Navajo Nation. We're also across the British Columbia Isles of Canada, and finally across the Georgia Communication and Family Radio stations, East Alabama, West Georgia, including right here at 99.1 FM, WQEE, the key home of Southern sports and inspirational talk. Also, we're the heartbeat of Atlanta because we're live all day, and we're on the Facebook page, the WQEE Facebook page. We got our final period of play. It's been a fast one, it's been a fun one, and it's been a great one. So we appreciate you guys tuning in. And to all our haters out there, I got this to say to you. Listen up close to this, haters. Oh, yes, I am the man around here. Y'all, I'm not going to touch that one with a 10-foot pole, what you just said. We'll get back into that on Monday. All right, we're going to welcome back in Richard Holdridge from the Sports Beat, weekdays from 2 to 3 p.m. on the network. And we appreciate you being with us this morning, Richard.
Ryan, I've had a blast being on your morning show, just doing the whole 3 hours. We got an hour to go, and there's just so much to talk about here in the world of sports, news, pop culture, just about everything. We've covered about everything here on the show, and we've had a lot of fun. And I just want to give a shout out to Thrift Behringer from Georgia Alabama Sports Live, as we are in the live streaming business, just live streaming professional high school games in the Chattahoochee Valley. And we have our show that we do weekly, and had just a great time at Happy Hour Bar and Grill on Tuesday night. And I feel like my broadcasting career, I've been given the opportunities. You know, Josh Pate once said that your talent and your passion have to intersect. But I also want to throw in another thing. It's not just talent and passion, it's opportunity.
Yes.
I've lived in big markets like Memphis, Sacramento, Atlanta, where you might have 100 people who are talented and passionate, but no one knows about them. They don't have the opportunity. It takes getting discovered by the head football coach of the Columbus Lions, Jason Gibson. It takes Thrift Behringer recognizing me at a basketball game. And it takes somebody like you, Ryan, that noticed that I was calling games for the Columbus Rapids, asking me if I wanted to have a radio show on this station.
Well, you know, it's the way it is, man. And like I said, we definitely want everyone to get an opportunity out there. We want people's voices to be heard. We want people that are in the broadcast business to have opportunities to do things, because we want to keep this thing alive. I mean, in this day and time, like I always said, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, so many people have, you know, they're competitors. Today, you can't be competitors. It's a whole different landscape in the world of sports. So, or even in the world of broadcasting, period, whether it's sports, news, you have to try to work together, not go, well, I'm the number one guy. And I never thought about anybody being the number one guy. I think everybody I have on here is the number one guy in what they do. Every single show that's on this network is different. So they're their number one person, whether it's a religious show, whether it's a sports show. All three of them are sports shows that we have run from 12 to 5. We call it Football Friday. All three of you guys are totally 110% different. It's not the same. You guys are not talking about Aaron Rodgers all day, losing his mind over Travis Kelce dating Taylor Swift. You guys are talking about everything else. You know what I'm saying? You're talking about what people want to hear. Now, you might make fun of that, and that's fine. And if some major news story comes up, you guys might all talk about it, but it's not the same way. And that's what I love about all the programming here. And when I start looking out for people, when I start looking at people, I start looking at how different everybody is than what's out there and what I can do different. So that's what I really love about it. Now, let's get into some sports here. I'm going to give you some games in Alabama and Georgia, and I want you to give me the pick of the week of them. Now, who you're going to pick in that game. I know you can do more picks tonight, but I'm just going to give you some around the different areas. We're not going to get all of them. And I'm not going to choose either one of the games you guys are doing. So
of course.
Don't worry about that, because I know how Thrift is hard on that, and I don't want him coming after me.
You might be calling pretty soon.
Right. Hey, Ryan, no, dude, we're not supposed to do that. I'm going to come get you.
I already gave him the numbers.
So there you go. Let's start with the game that Matt Stewart's going to be calling tonight. It's going to be on GPTV. Carrollton, East Coweta. Good morning, Sheriff. Thank you. Carrollton, East Coweta, you're picking that game.
Both teams are 5-1. East Coweta is playing at home. Remember, they had a 1-point loss to Lambert.
Yeah.
So they could easily be 6-0. I'm picking East Coweta.
Woo.
Indians get the win at home. I know Carrollton has one of the top quarterbacks in the state. And this is really going to be a showcase of two great teams. But East Coweta, because they're at home, I think they get the win.
There you go. I like that one. Also, Newnan's on the road against Alexandria.
Alexandria, I don't know too much about them. Newnan's having a tough season, 2-4. It's a road game. I'll have to know, is Alexandria like a 7A school, or what type of school are they?
They are. I think they're in the same division with Newnan. It's a region game. Both teams are similar in play. Alexandria is doing very well this year, so I think Newnan could come out on top on this one.
Yeah, they are out of Douglasville. They are also 2-4. I'm actually going to pick Newnan in this game as well.
Go Cougars! All right, here's one that I'm ecstatic about because of Northgate and McIntosh. McIntosh beat Landmark Christian a few weeks ago. McIntosh came off and had some wins and some losses this season. Northgate has only had really one tough task, and they're going to be heading to Columbus pretty soon. I think got them a tough task there. But Northgate, the Vikings, and McIntosh, your thoughts on that game tonight?
Well, Northgate comes into this game. This is their first region contest. Northgate is 4-2, and then McIntosh at 5-1. I think that McIntosh gets the win.
Right.
They're playing in Peachtree City, but then Northgate, they will host Northside next week.
That's right.
This region, it's got 5 teams. Drew is not as strong as the top 4 teams in this region.
Right.
Harris County's 5-1. McIntosh is 5-1. Northgate and Northside are all 4-2. And now they all start region play. So we'll start seeing clarity on who can win this region and get a number 1 seed in the state playoffs.
Sounds good to me. And on to a couple other ones. Stars Mills takes on Fayette County tonight.
I think Stars Mill wins that game.
Hands down there, I agree with you. Whitewater and Trinity, the Christian Lions.
Trinity is 3-0 in the region. Is that game at Trinity?
It is at home with the purple lights.
The purple
baby.
lights. You got to watch out. Those purple lights are intimidating. I think that Whitewater, they're having a tough season. Whitewater is already lost to Troup County and LaGrange. I
Right.
think that Whitewater, it's a tough ask to come in to that purple lights in Sharpsburg, that intimidation. I think Trinity Christian gets the win.
There you go. And the team that Troup, I think, faced last week is facing LaGrange tonight. LaGrange plays host to North Clayton. Who do you think is going to win that one?
I think LaGrange wins that one.
Hands down, the Grangers are going to take it. So this division is getting heated and heated. I love it. I love it.
They come down to the wire.
It's going to come down to the wire. All right. Also tonight, you've got Columbia taking on Landmark Christian. Landmark Christian has not won a game this season whatsoever. They're taking on a tough Columbia team who took Callaway to the limits last Friday. What do you think in this game?
Well, Columbia is a very tough team. I mean, I really appreciate what Landmark Christian has done. And Coach Tommy Lewis, a big shout out to him. He's your guest on Mondays. And it's going to be tough. I mean, Columbia, yeah, they did lose a very close game to Callaway last week.
Right.
Columbia, one of the top teams in this region. I actually think that they're going to end up getting the win over Landmark Christian.
I agree too. I hate to have that conversation with Coach Lewis on Monday morning. This coming up Monday morning, but I think it's gonna be a tough one for them.
I really do.
And they've had a tough season. It's been a rebuilding season for the Landmark Christian War Eagles. Also, speaking of that, Callaway in action against Greenville tonight.
Callaway.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So the thing about Callaway, yeah, they're 3-2.
Of course.
They're really 4-1.
They're really 4-1. Yeah.
They're really 4-1. They beat Cedartown. They're 2-0 in 2A Region 5. And I think that Callaway, very strong team. Now, according to Max Preps, it says they're on a bye. I don't know if they're playing anybody, but they do play Towers next week.
Right.
And they do play ECLA, and then they have a Thursday night game at Callaway Stadium against Landmark Christian
on their
on
last game of the season,
November the 2nd. So that could be a game where, you remember Landmark Christian gave Callaway a very close game last year?
Yeah, and it's going to be a tough one for Landmark. And, of course, Callaway is on a bye this week and everything. But we'll have to wait and see. They've got Towers. Towers is tough. But I think Callaway's going to ride the rest of the season out on wins. That's all I'm going to say.
I think that they won week 1 against Cedartown.
Yeah.
Come on. Louisville won the 2013 NCAA championship, despite the fact they don't have a banner. Memphis was the runner-up in 2008. Taking down a banner or forfeiting a win does not dictate what happened on the field.
Right.
We know what happened on the field. I know the record books say that Callaway lost because of a forfeit loss, but that was a statement win against Cedartown opening day.
Definitely so. Well, let's talk a couple of them in the Columbus area for you. And Hardaway is taking on the Cert Makers tonight.
This is going to be a very tough region game for the Hardaway Hawks, who are 0-6. They're rebuilding this year under first-year head coach Ryan McKenzie. They got a freshman quarterback in Bobby Gary. And I think the Hardaway Hawks, I think that they'll score a couple of touchdowns. But, Cairo just dismantled Shaw last week.
Yep,
Cairo Syrup Makers are one of the top teams in the region.
They are.
I think it's going to be a tough ask to get Hardaway to get a region game on the road.
What I really love is here's a team calling themselves the Syrup Makers. It is the coolest name in a long time. We come up with tigers and bears, oh my, and everything. All our teams are cool. But when you come out and say we're the Syrup Makers, and then you back it up on the field like Cairo is, I tell you, man, you got to be on the lookout. I remember the Syrup Makers 4 or 5 years. Well, actually, it's more than that. About 10 years ago, when LaGrange was in the playoffs, I was at another radio station. LaGrange, that was the first time I heard the Syrup Makers team. And people at the station were like, oh, they on the Syrup Makers. And then that night, I was like, oh, my God. It was a sticky game.
Yes.
It was
Ryan, I was getting ready to throw in a pun, and you stole my pun. I was going to say, anytime you go play Cairo, things get sticky.
It is.
Man, but great minds think alike.
That's right.
We were getting ready to throw that sticky pun out there,
That's
and
right.
you beat me to the punch.
But
so great job.
I think it's a good. I like the name. I want to see more teams name that. Well, let's continue to stay as I believe Carver Columbus has got Thomasville tonight.
Thomasville, this is the rematch of the game where they went down to Thomasville. They lost 14-13. Thomasville won the region last year. Carver made it all the way to the quarterfinals as a number 2 seed. The Carver Tigers, they have lost 3 games where they're playing non-region opponents.
Right.
All were 1-possession games, including to the 7A Brookwood. They lost to Hayfield Charter on the final play. They bounced back and they defeated Columbus last week 40-0. They're 1-0 in their region. I think Carver ends up getting the win tonight down at Otis Spencer Stadium.
There you go. That's a couple of the games I wanted to sit there and say and talk about. I know you guys are going to talk more about all the games tonight.
High school game day. It's going to be at Calvary Christian. And then I'm going to change the camera over here just so I could show you that I'm representing the Calvary Christian polo shirt. Go Knights. We're going to be there. It's homecoming. I will be on the call for Georgia-Alabama Sports Live. You don't want to miss it.
There you go. All right, let's head over to the Alabama side of things. I'm going to give you a couple of games that I want to get your thoughts on and who you think is going to win those. Valley is in action, they say, tonight against Central Clay County. But Central Clay County is supposed to get 2 games, but I don't know how that is.
You can never trust Max Preps. It's like Wikipedia. Anybody can go in and change any information.
Valley and Central Clay County.
That is the game.
Right.
Valley, they're 4-1. They got a huge game against Russell County, 40-14 last week.
Oh, you were there.
I was there calling the game with Michael Long Jr., the Carver head baseball coach, making his broadcast debut on Georgia-Alabama Sports Live. Yeah, he's going to be calling more games. He was very talented. I love calling a game with Michael Long Jr. So Valley Rams, they have a very special quarterback, Cam Dooley, who threw 2 touchdown passes, ran for 3. And Jay Harper, we didn't call his name that much on the broadcast because Russell County did not throw it to him that much.
Right.
But he is one of the top corners that's going to Wisconsin, going to play for Luke Fickle next year. And the Valley Rams, I think that they go up to Lineville. I mean, you're very familiar with Lineville. I am too. I take my kids to a camp called Backwoods Christian Camp. That's in Lineville.
Yes.
So, yeah, I'm very familiar with Lineville as well. When you drive up 431 and you cut across the lake and everything. So Central Clay County, they are one of the top teams in 5A. They made the playoffs last year, but I think Valley's on a mission. Yeah. Valley is trying to prove that they are one of the top teams in the Chattahoochee Valley. I think they get a win.
Well, the last time there was a guy in orange and blue named Cam, there was a lot of championships. So that's all I'm going to say. Cam Newton here in Newnan. His parents are in Newnan. All right.
Lightning in a bottle.
Lightning in a bottle. Reeltown takes on Lynette tonight, the Panthers.
Well, Reeltown's undefeated.
Yeah.
They're a very good team.
Okay.
Lynette, under first-year head coach Chip Siegel, they did make the playoffs last year. Lynette's had some tough losses. They've had a very tough schedule, losing to Highland Home, but they were able to defeat Horseshoe Bend, but they've lost to Valley. They lost to Hanley last week. I'm going to call the upset. Is this at Dan Washburn Stadium? This is in Lynette, right?
This is in Lynette. This is in Panther country.
Look, Reeltown is undefeated, but I think Lynette is going to get the upset win.
Whoa! Calling it upset this morning, guys. Touchdown, Panthers.
Well, you got to remember that Coach Chip Siegel the team is going to get better every game. He is a good coach at developing players.
Right.
They're a young team still. They were a young team last year under Coach Story.
Of course.
But they are just going to continue to get better. And that winning tradition, Lynette winning 2 state titles in 2017 and 2019. Also a big shout out to former Lynette head football coach Jonathan Shushke, a.k.a. Buckets. I know that I wanted to make sure to get his name out there because he did help coach with Coach Story, and Coach Siegel was also an assistant coach at Lynette. So there's a lot of familiarity there, and I think Lynette gets the win.
There you go. And I tell you what, what's going on over here? He's calling a upset for the Panthers. Another team that seems to have a pretty up and down year, but doing very better this year than they've done in the past was Beulah, the Bobcats. They got Dateville tonight. I I would call this one a rival game in a way.
It is. Both
Yeah.
teams are 3A. The Beulah Bobcats, they've already won 2 games. They have eclipsed the expectations for Beulah football.
Right.
They had a tough loss to Abbeyfield Christian.
Yep.
No, I think no, they lost to Prattville Christian. My bad.
Okay.
Beulah, one of those teams that they're coming in, they're taking on a tough Dadeville team. Dadeville, usually competes for the playoffs in 3A. I think that Dadeville wins.
Sounds good. Well, Lafayette Bulldogs could be their last year as the Lafayette Bulldogs, because I'm hearing rumors. Of course, we already know that Lynette and Valley are coming together. I'm hearing rumors that they get it together next year. They're going to call it Chambers County High School. I don't know what maybe we can call them the Cert Makers. I don't know. Instead of the Rams or the Bulldogs, but the Bulldogs are in action against Horseshoe Bend tonight.
I think that Horseshoe Bend ends up getting the win. I think that that's going to be a tough ask for Lafayette to get a road victory.
All right. Well, here's a game that I know you were talking about this week, Dothan and Central, that you say never bet against black and red.
Never bet against the Central Red Devils ever. I made the mistake on high school game day to pick Enterprise to get the upset against Central back in week 3 when they were both 2-0. And Central just took them behind the woodshed and whacked them. I mean, it was just a complete beat down. Andrew Alford, he's having a special year. I kind of compare it to Joe Burrow in 2019 with the LSU Tigers. Coach Patrick Nix, he's a quarterback whisperer. And you had a coach like Joe Brady. LSU caught lightning in a bottle. And Andrew Alford, 25 touchdowns, and not just to Cam Coleman,
right,
the number 1 recruit in Alabama. He's also got Dalen Upshaw, and he's got Zach Simmons that's running the football, and Central's got a great team. But I had Philip Jordan on my show. He's everything about Dothan Wolves.
He's the Dothan.
He thinks that Dothan can give him a game. I think that it's going to be – it could be a little bit closer. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think Dothan, a very talented team. Their only loss was an overtime loss to Auburn. And they did defeat Smith Station 66-0. This Dothan Wolves team is very talented.
But they always say bet on black. So
always bet on black. There you go.
So there you go. So we're pulling the Central. All right, let's head over to a couple other games in Alabama. I want to talk about Glenwood is in action tonight. Let's talk about the Gators, who you guys do a special Gators coaches show every week. I'm never going to bet against the Gators, especially when you talk to the head coach over there. I'm telling you, every time I hear that on the network here, I'm like, they know what they're talking about. They know what they're doing. Glenwood is a special organization right now.
Well, Glenwood is on a mission. They have not won a state championship since 1992. They were in the state championship against Lee Scott Academy, which they defeated this year. They're 6-0. Yeah, they do have some tough teams like Otagoville Academy and Chambers Academy, but I think Glenwood can run the table. They have a very special quarterback in Dallas Crow, which we had on our show Tuesday night.
Right.
And he is just a poised quarterback with a lot of confidence under his second year in the system of Coach Ryan Nelson, the former Central assistant. He won a state championship with head coach Jamie DuBose back in 2018. So he's got the championship pedigree. He took over a Glenwood team from Coach Jason Gibson last season, and Glenwood is just firing on all cylinders. Offense, defense, special teams. They got a lot of playmakers, and they right now are the favorites to win the state title in the AISA.
There you go. I know you guys are going to be talking more about that again today. That's some of the picks that he picks the clip from Richard Holdridge this morning on this Friday morning. Richard, tell everybody where you guys are going to be tonight, the 2 games, what's going on, game day, and all that good stuff again.
All right. Thank you, Ryan. We are going to be at Calvary Christian for high school game day, rocking the Calvary Christian polo shirt as they are taking on Creekside Christian Academy out of McDonough, as I will be on the call. And then Thrift Behringer and Rick Beach from Kutsu Sports is going to be on the call for Harris County and Northside, a big region game. And it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to calling Calvary Christian's first region game in the Gaps. They're 3-3 on the season, but they're 3 losses.
Right.
One was to Flint River Academy.
Right.
One was to Heritage.
Yep.
And the other was to the Kings Ridge Christian Academy, which is a GHSA Division I school. So they have not lost to a GAPS team yet. They opened the season defeating the defending GAPS champions, Cherokee Christian. So
wow.
I think that Calvary, they could run the table in this region and they could start making a deep run in the playoffs.
All right. Sounds good. That's
But
good.
I do want to give a shout out to Justin Brown. He is
Okay.
a Calvary alumni who is going to be calling the game with me tonight on Georgia Alabama Sports Live. I talked to him briefly on the phone yesterday. I know that he is excited about making his broadcast debut on Georgia
Ooh.
Alabama Sports Live. So I know that I'm hoping to build up some chemistry with him and hopefully get him on the broadcast for future Calvary Christian football games.
Sounds good. We're going to take a break, guys. Come back. We're going to talk some what's coming out this weekend, movies and more. You know, we've done more sports than we normally do on Friday, but that's fine. Richard came in live in the studio with me. I appreciate that. Stay with us. More on the way as the Rhino Radio Penitentiary Cruises on with yours truly, Ryan O'Neill, and our special guest co-host this morning, Richard Holdridge from the Sports Beat. Back in a moment. Stay with us. That's right, Chance.
We got a half hour to go here on the show. I am live here at the radio station, WQEE, 99.1 FM, The Key, as this is the Rhino Radio Penitentiary Morning Show. You can catch it from 7 to 10 in the morning, Monday through Friday, here on this fine radio station. We are live in studio. This is downtown Newnan, historic downtown Newnan. And we do have a lot of high school football in action for the Newnan area. Don't forget to catch my show, The Sports Beat with Richard Holdridge, today starting at 2 p.m. I plan on going live, and so hopefully Ryan will be able to catch the feed, and that could be aired. I won't be in studio, but I will be in the comfort of my home actually doing it live. So I'm looking forward to that. Normally, I give them a pre-recorded show, but because a lot of the games ended late last night, I was not able to get on my Facebook Live page and do a show, but I plan on doing that for future shows. And also on Georgia Alabama Sports Live, I'm going to give some content, the content that Thrip Behringer and I do on Georgia Alabama Sports Live. So we're going to be back with a quick commercial break.
He's recording on that, guys. That's why he's talking. This morning is about 35 minutes past the hour, and we are holding at now 60 degrees under kind of cloudy skies out there. Expect some rain in the forecast. Take an umbrella with you. Your time of temperature brought to you by our friends at Active Pest Control. Summer, winter, spring, fall, we don't care for those rodents, critters, or gooey things at all. Ryan and the crew can exterminate, and they just smack down for you. This coming up weekend, ladies and gentlemen, you can check out some shows in the theaters and online as well as on Hulu. Monster High 2 is coming out this weekend for those kids. It's a sophomore year at Monster High. I guess you can check that out. Also, the Boogeyman is going to be making his debut on, and not the Boogeyman from WWE, but the Boogeyman that was in theaters last year is going to be making its debut on Netflix and a few other ones this weekend. I guess people are getting ready for Halloween there. The Exorcist, the second one that Shane and I were talking about the other day, is going to be, it's 43 in Iowa. Ooh, it's cold there. The Exorcist is going to be out in theaters starting tonight. So maybe you guys will get to see it this weekend. You can make it number one, but most of you are going to be out watching games because got great footballs this weekend, high school, college, and more. And we've got SEC report coming up here momentarily, actually. Just want to get those out there. A couple other things. Also, this coming up weekend, ladies and gentlemen, Major League Baseball playoffs, Texas Rangers, Orioles, 1:03 p.m. on Fox Saturday. Twins, Astros, 4:05 Fox Saturday. Phillies, Braves. I'm concerned about that too, champs. It's a TBS game. Somebody's calling. Well, somebody was calling. And the D-backs take on the Dodgers, 9:30 p.m. on TBS tomorrow night. WWE Fastlane tomorrow night. Last man standing for the World Championship. Seth freaking Rollins defends against Nakamura. John Cena tags it with LA Knight to take on the Bloodline. Triple threat match for the women's title. Iota Sky defends the title against Asuka and Charlotte Flair. Six-man matches. LWO takes on Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits. And the WWE Tag Team titles on the line is the Judgment Day. Finn Balor and Damian Priest defend against Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso. SmackDown tonight, 8 p.m. on Fox. AEW Rampage on TNT tonight, and Collision on TNT Saturday. We've got SEC report coming up. I don't know who was going to call, but call us at 770-347-9947. Cher says she's going to see Ron Keel this weekend perform. So the former Keel band back in the 80s. There you go. So yeah, we got SEC report coming up to close out the show because I want to get that in there for us. And that's going to talk about some of the games of the week this weekend. Well, it's been wonderful having you with us this morning, Richard. I knew that we were going to have a little bit more sports talk. I planned out a certain amount of talk around what we were going to talk about, and I enjoyed having you here this morning, my friend.
It truly has been just an outstanding time being on your radio show, Ryan. I've really been just excited to be in the radio station here with you, doing the morning show for 3 hours. And, hopefully I could come back if I do have time on a Friday in the morning. I would love to come back on.
Oh, you're always invited to come back on. No problem whatsoever. I want as many people to come on and do things. As many people we've had here at the station, they can come in. I love the crossover shows. I love it when you were on Rod Peterson's show. I love it when he came on Sports Beat. Mr. Big, I call him Mr. Big Time, Rod Peterson. I love that he was coming on your show. We got to get Matt to cross over on some of these
Matt
shows,
McGee.
but he works in the morning. He has a regular day job too, But he's a chef, don't you?
Oh, he's a chef.
He's a chef. Yeah. Max. So when we have the big WQEE party and try to bring everybody up, Max gonna have to do all the cooking.
Yeah, we're gonna have to plan that.
Yeah, we got to plan that and bring him up and let him do all the cooking.
I can't wait. Sign me up.
Matt would be like, look, man, how many people is it? Over 200 people. That's nothing. But anyway, it's been enjoyable. We got the SEC report. It's going to be coming up momentarily, ladies and gentlemen. Anything else you'd like to add? Anything else you'd like to add before we let you get out of here?
Well, just real quick, I know you have your SEC report. College football, Georgia's playing Kentucky. Alabama's playing Texas A&M. There are some teams that are on upset alert. Georgia fans, please don't get mad at me, but you're on upset alert. I think that Kentucky could pull it off, even though Georgia needs to have a bounce-back game because they played a very close game against Auburn last week.
They definitely did. And like I said, I believe Auburn could have took that game, and they actually took the first 3 quarters of that game.
They did.
Yeah, they did. So there you go. We got the SEC report coming up for you. Stay tuned. And we're closing out right now. Stay tuned. Also, follow us at 10 a.m. It's an hour of House of Light presents Wisdom Cafe, Lyrical Wisdom. And then we'll have the Focus on the Family from 11 to 11:30. Live in the studio, it is the Hope, Healing, Inspiration Show with Trish, the Mobile Chaplain, and Railroad Music. And it's Football Friday kicking off at noon today. Rod Peterson, 12 to 2. Rod, Moose, and everything 12 to 2. We follow up that live with another live show from the Sports Beat with Richard Holdridge, who's been with us this morning. He is going to bring you all the exciting action of this weekend's high school football, college football, and NFL, and more. Maybe a little baseball, too. And then 3 to 5, Braves Country Radio with Matt McGee and the Armchair Quarterbacks, NFL, SEC, ACC, and Braves baseball for the weekend. We are nonstop sports till 5 p.m., and we appreciate you guys. And remember, guys, support all of your local teams out there. Go out, support them, be a part of it. And if you're unable to get out live and support them, support all the feeds that have them up, such as Georgia, Alabama Sports Live.
There you go. Thank you. I appreciate you plugging that. We are going to be at Calvary Christian for homecoming and high school game day. Once again, I got to represent the Calvary Christian polo shirt. Thrift Behringer and I will be there. Head coach Emmanuel Brunson, the athletic director, Coach Steve Smith, and we should have some special guests as well. I'm excited about it, Ryan. I cannot wait.
Sounds good. Well, I appreciate you being with us this morning. Guys, we're going to go ahead and get into the SEC report. Until we meet again, peace, love, respect. I'm out of here. Back here Monday with Major News Monday. All the news you can use from over the weekend. We'll talk news. Coach Tommy Lewis joins us on Monday as well at the last 30 minutes of the period. And on Tuesday, Richard joins us again with Friday Night Lights. And we'll have Shane B on Tuesday at in the third period talking movies, the top 10 movies from over the weekend. Wednesday, we've got R&R Paranormal. The one, the only, Greg T.J. Justice joins us next Wednesday as he talks about what's going on in Eastern Kentucky and Tennessee with his spooktastic thing. And finally, on Thursday next week, Elizabeth Sarles joins us, the author of The Birthday Bash. She will be with us talking about another unsolved homicide in small town USA. And next Friday is our next Friday show. So, you always know what's going on there. Until we meet again, this is Ryan O'Neill saying, peace, love, respect. I'm out of here. You guys have a great day. See ya on the flip side, as they would say. All right, guys, we appreciate it. I'm going to come off here. I may keep this rolling. And if I have enough time, I'll come back on. But
all right, I'm going to go ahead and close out the show.
You guys have a great day.
You've been watching
Thank you.
the Rhino Radio Penitentiary Morning Show. Don't forget to catch it Monday through Friday from 7 to 10 a.m. and watch the Sports Beat with Richard Holdridge on Facebook Live, the YouTube channel, and on WQEE from 2 to 3, Monday through Friday. Hope everybody has a great weekend and enjoy all the high school football action tonight. Bye.